Welcome in, everyone. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure you show me a little love with a thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Introduce yourself if you're new to the live stream. And if you're returning as Todd, I was actually laughing at your super chat here. Thank you so much, by the way, for the super chat, man. I very much, more than I can say, appreciate the support, believe me. And I was laughing at your comment about racking up the hotel points. Cheers, everyone. The market is rebounding strongly, as was not surprising. There's a lot to tell from the market movements today versus yesterday and what it sort of signals to us. Again, I think the thing that you need to be mindful of when you're tuning in here is while I can't tell you with certainty what's going to occur within the market, there is a certain level of confidence that I have regarding what I'm seeing now being very reminiscent of what I've seen before. They say that history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And so when you see a sell off like that we saw in Bitcoin yesterday, and certainly there's always a story behind price movements. I'm not going to argue that a lot of it had to do with over leverage. Whatever the case is, the fact that your altcoins, and it's really interesting, there's kind of two observations I had. Feel free to jump into the comments here. I just wanted to get started with the agenda and kind of get right into things because there's a lot to get into today. And we're going to cover this in 30 to 35 minutes. So, kind of two observations from yesterday. The first thing is, as Bitcoin was correcting, okay, after it technically did create a new all-time high, so we can give a golf clap for that. But it began swiftly correcting down to the mid $60,000 range. Did you notice that alts were not correcting very hard? I remember looking at Bitcoin being down 5-6%. Caspa was only down 1.5 points. It's only down about 1.5%. That relative strength in your altcoins that held on to there for a while was a clear signal, a foreshadowing of what is to come. If you have Bitcoin correcting in that sort of manner, where it was down 5 to 6%, and your altcoins are holding up very well, it's a sign of strength within altcoins. Okay, now eventually we saw major corrections in the market, a lot of volatility. Nothing that, again, when I came out here yesterday, did I seem concerned? Did I seem worried? Did I signal anything to you that we have something to be worried about in the weeks to come? No, because again, this is very reminiscent of years past. And so it wasn't, I should have spoke to this yesterday, but it wasn't surprising to see the rebound that we saw today. That was my expectation, that we were going to see a strong rebound today. So I think the other thing I wanted to couple with that, keep those 2 points in mind, is a lot of the strength that we're currently seeing in Ethereum. Now, we're going to take a look at the charts here, but something that I've been signaling to you for a while is, let's kind of jump into this chart right away. Now, I've been hitting on this chart for a long time. This is a 2-week chart on the Ethereum BTC relativity chart. Now, I remember in weeks past, there were a lot of analysts talking about the Ethereum ratio here to Bitcoin, okay? And again, the general premise behind these charts, if you're newer to this channel, newer to this sort of chart, this is an extremely important to fundamentally understand. Whenever you're charting any altcoin in comparison to Bitcoin, you can chart anything, right? Most charts that you and I take a look at together, it's a USD chart. Okay, it's that said cryptocurrency marked against the US dollar. And essentially what's happening is we're watching that cryptocurrency. Let's say we look at Ethereum USD. We're watching the Ethereum price appreciate in value moving up or depreciating in value moving down against the US dollar. That's really what we're looking at. Now, in this case, what we're looking at when we look at an Ethereum BTC chart, we're looking at the Ethereum price appreciating in value, increasing, or depreciating in value, decreasing, versus the Bitcoin chart. That's how you can think of it. And so a lot of analysts were incorrectly saying that we were seeing some sort of a huge drop in Ethereum strength against Bitcoin. And again, you can go back to my prior videos, but if you've been here for a while, you know this. I've been saying for, I don't know, years at this point, that we've been in this massive, massive accumulation within Ethereum. And not only do I think Ethereum is going to break to the upside here, and I think that it's very possible Ethereum is going to temporarily flip Bitcoin for a period of time, short, very short period of time. But I've said to you that once that strength picks up in Ethereum, you're going to see renewed confidence within your altcoin, the altcoins that you hold. The other thing that I shared with you for the past couple days here is that a lot of these insane movements in meme coins, which I've urged you to have as a portion of your portfolio, the strong movements that you've seen in these meme coins are a clear indication of two things: renewed confidence coming back to the market, and two, it historically being a leading indicator that we are very, very shortly on the precipice of a massive run in the rest of your altcoins. I've been speaking to this now for several days once we saw that occur within the market, right? Now I know if you took the opportunity, or if you have taken the opportunity to follow me on Twitter or X, still using the old school word here. If you've taken the opportunity to follow me on there, I tweeted out or posted out a couple things, and that is that I rotated some of the gains specifically in Doge and in Bonk. I took a lot of those gains, not a decent amount, I'll just say a decent amount of those gains, and shifted them into two other projects that I believe are set to increase massively in value. Of course, you know the strongest conviction altcoin that I hold is Caspa. I didn't think I was going to buy any more Caspa, but then again, I didn't think I would see the profits that I saw so soon in Bonk. And so, or excuse me, that was for Doge. That was not Bonk. Doge. It happened so quickly. It became overvalued. I shared with you guys. That was always a trade position for me anyway. That Doge position, and I still hold some, was always a trade position. It wasn't a long-term hold. So I shifted those positions into Caspa. And then for Bonk, which was another trade position, very important to note the difference between a investment position versus a trade position. I scaled out a significant portion of my bonk and significantly increased my position in Casper, ticker symbol CSPR, okay, which I think is setting up for a massive move based on the chart that I shared with you. So these are some of the things that the more familiar you become with these quote unquote cycles, and the more you've been here and the time you spend on the charts, it just kind of sticks out to you. But what we're seeing right now, we're actually going to start off with Ethereum. What are we seeing right now in Ethereum? Again, I don't overcomplicate things on this channel. I keep it very, very simple. We don't need to overcomplicate things and make ourselves sound smarter than what we are, okay? Ethereum is expressing a lot of strength. In fact, it's running a lot harder than Bitcoin is at the moment. So let's take a look here. Ethereum is up 7.8%. Bitcoin is only up 4%. Okay, and if we look at the Ethereum BTC dominance, or the Ethereum BTC relativity chart that we just looked at, notice how what's happening is we're doing exactly what I said we would most likely do. Okay, I can never tell you certainly what we're going to do here, but I can give you what I think is the higher probabilistic scenario, right? We're riding this line here. We're going to get pinched here eventually. Now, there's a whole host of scenarios that could happen. We, of course, could roll over. We could continue stagnating here, or we could break out of this formation, backtest, and continue moving higher. I am in the camp of the latter, okay? But this strength in Ethereum that you're seeing right now should give you a renewed sense of confidence that this literally is flashing, like it's flashing to you saying there is strength coming into the altcoin market. I know you guys, most of you guys who are tuned into this channel, you hold a lot of altcoins. I come out here every week. I know a lot of the projects that you guys are into. I've become very in tune with the crypto projects that you guys value because I chart them, right? So I know that you guys hold a lot of different altcoins. This strength that we're seeing in Ethereum, and I position myself appropriately in Ethereum Classic. I think Ethereum Classic has yet to pop off and get a really big pop there. In fact, I don't think we've popped off on Ethereum Classic just yet. I think we saw it up only like 8% or something like that today. Let's see where we're at. I still expect a significant move in Ethereum Classic up to 45 plus. As you can see, I'm always genuine with you guys. I use Tony the Bull BTC's Raging Bull indicator. What are we up? We're up 9%. Okay, decent move, but I'm still expecting something to get up into this $45 to $60 area. So more work for Ethereum Classic there. But the whole point is this, keeping in mind everything that I've shared with you, there's a reason to believe that we're going to see a very large run in altcoins. But that's not just it. There's another very important point to be made here. It's something that you need to understand. Based on history, and again, all of these comments, all of this information that I'm sharing with you, I'm not sharing with you my subjective, emotional opinion. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm basing my comments on history. And so what I'm doing is I'm using history as a precedent for what will most likely occur moving forward. It doesn't need to repeat. It doesn't need to look exactly the same. But until history changes and gives us a new set of data points, a new sample set that differs from the past, all we can do is rely on the prior sample sets, right? The prior data, and make informed decisions based off of those sample sets. So based off of the sample sets that we have, it's very, very critical that you understand this key point. Your altcoins are not going to begin to have the largest price movements up, with some of them breaking prior all-time highs or making new all-time highs because they're in price discovery sooner rather than later, until one key thing happens in this market. Bitcoin breaks well above $70,000 and then begins to consolidate. Now, what I want to do right now is I want to take some time to theorize based on history when we can expect Bitcoin to break $70,000 and then begin to consolidate to allow our altcoins to run. Why does that actually happen real quick before I dig into the charts? What happens is when Bitcoin starts to break up and it breaks $70,000. By the way, I tweeted this or posted this out earlier. If you were following, I think differing viewpoints are extremely important. You need to listen to alternative viewpoints to make an informed decision. But if you're listening to people still at this point who are bearish and saying that we're double or triple topping, I would strongly suggest that you not pay attention to those people. Okay? Because they're more than likely the same people who have said we've been in a bear market rally since the first quarter of 2023. They're probably some of the same morons who have been shorting Bitcoin since $50,000. I'll just leave it at that. Okay? So it's very important that we understand how the market psychology shifts after Bitcoin breaks $70,000. What happens is the way market psychology works is, first off, there's an understanding at that point that we are risk on. We're about as risk on as we can get. And Bitcoin, as exciting as the gains have been, it sort of becomes less disinteresting. Traders and investors feel as if it's getting close to at least initially topping out. And there are a lot more gains to be made in some of these altcoins that have not run yet, that are 50, 60, still 70% down from their all-time highs. Or some of these brand new tokens that have a beautiful looking chart set up and perhaps a great fundamental narrative, like a Core AI. Okay? So not only do you have that going on, but you also have CNBC who can't help themselves but provide free advertisement for the crypto market, advertising that Bitcoin has broken above $70,000 and is in price discovery. Once that happens, I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on this. You are going to see Google search trends increase for the word Coinbase and for the word Bitcoin and for other crypto asset words like your Cardanos, your XRPs, your Solanas, okay, Ethereum. Retail will begin piling in, and the mentality of somebody who has absolutely no idea what they're doing is they really will buy tokens that are a penny or 2 or 3 pennies just on the premise that it's cheap. Now, I know that's very ignorant, very foolhardy, and stupid, quite frankly. But this is what the person who's coming into this market does. They think that it makes sense to buy something no matter what it is, if it's 1 cent or 10 cents, because it has to go to $1. It's much cheaper than Bitcoin. Why would I want to buy Bitcoin at $70,000? They don't even understand the concept of buying Satoshis. Okay? This is the mentality you're dealing with of people coming into this market that have no fucking clue what they're doing. And it's sad to say, but if you're willing to invest your dollars into this market, you're also making the risk that you have the likelihood of the possibility of losing money, right? So there is exit liquidity there for people coming in that have no clue what they're doing. Now let's step into the charts here and let's ask the question where we are at. Now, as you can see, I had shared this earlier if you're following me on X, Twitter. This is the only thing I changed here, which is something that I should have had, quite frankly, when I initially shared this. I took this orange box and I just shifted it over, right? Originally it was like this, I believe, or like this. No, I think it was like this. And I shifted it over. I don't know why I didn't have it over there to begin with. But this is something that I shared back in September. So everything is sort of lining up to potentially line up with my primary view. But again, I'm not married to this view, guys. I'll tell you what I am married to. I am married to having 5 indicators that are telling me when this market is way too frothy and it's time to take profits. And that video will be coming out very shortly. I have honed in on the indicators. I actually considered speaking to some of them today, but I'm going to hold off on speaking to it in a video. So I'm very open again to the idea that we could maybe have our blow off top towards the end of this year, early 25, following liquidity and interest rate cycles. But regardless, if it does pan out this way, what I wanted to share with you is that, and I've been sharing this for a while, the price movements that we're seeing here, I believe, okay, week for week, pound for pound, are more reminiscent. And I've been saying this for a while, guys. You know, if you've been here for a while, I've been very consistent about what I said. Again, unless if the facts in the charts change, right? I have changed my views on certain charts once the facts in the charts change. I do not change my view on charts based on emotional opinions, emotional views, right? If I was an emotional investor, back here I would have been scared. Here I would have been scared, okay? No point during this entire uptrend have I ever been scared or nervous, okay? Because nothing fundamentally in the chart has changed. And what I've been saying for a very long period of time on this channel is that this price movement that we're seeing here is extremely similar to the price movement that we saw here. And so what I'm using as a guiding principle to determine what we can expect in terms of timing for Bitcoin to start breaking well above $70,000, I'm using this time period back here in late 2020. So allow us to go back in time. Allow us to go back in time. We're going to use this chart. Now, this is a 12-hour chart that I've modified. This is a chart I saved on a 12-hour time frame. I've modified to be on a daily time frame. So what I want to do is I want to go back to 2020, okay? And I want to evaluate what happened the first time we came up to $20,000. Technically, it was 19,000, I think 666, okay? So this is approximately our all-time high. 19,666. I know, I hate that. You know what? I'm just going to do this just because. 19,667. All right, I don't like using 3 sixes. Call me superstitious. So you can see in late November, we almost touched it. But it was right here that we double tapped. In late November, we double tapped, and we had an initial struggle with getting through here for several days, and then here we popped above, and here's where back then I thought at that time, and it's still very logical, guys, but I was incorrect. Once we broke 19,667 and got up here, I thought we'd back test this, we'd show support, and we'd move above. We never did that. We just continued going higher into our all-time highs all the way up until $64,000, okay? So what I want to do is I want to compare this point in time to our current point in time. So we came up here and touched and technically got above our all-time high at the very end of November. So let's see how many days it took for us to break all-time highs. Now remember, I had put a video out a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you guys were here to see that. Hopefully you were. Where I made the argument based on one chart alone, which I believe was the Pi cycle chart, that we would be making new all-time highs in Bitcoin by mid to late March. And of course, without data to back that up, you would think I'm a moon boy. But I had one chart to back that up. So let's see how many days it took. We burst through 16 days later, guys. 16 days later. So if we did something similar, okay, it doesn't have to be 16 days. Don't confuse what I'm saying here. CBG is not saying we're breaking all-time highs within 16 days. But if we did something similar, it would be something around 16 days. Maybe it's 12 days. Maybe it's 20 days. But it's something similar to 16 days. Well, here was our first day. Monday, was this it here? No, right here. Here's the first candlestick where we technically created a new all-time high and couldn't get quite through substantially. 16 days later, well, wouldn't you fucking know it? Thursday, March 21st, which I'm not good with numbers, but I actually, it's a poor joke. I'm much better at remembering numbers than names. And I'm pretty sure I came out here a couple weeks ago. It's funny, clearly I'm not Nostradamus, okay? I could not have predicted, I didn't even look at this ahead of the live stream. I could not have predicted that comparing this back to 2020 would have pointed us to March 21st, but I'm pretty sure if you go back to the live stream where I spoke to Bitcoin potentially breaching $70,000, I'm pretty sure it lined up exactly on that date, looking at the Pi cycle. We examined the Pi cycle chart, and I said, I know this is crazy, but we could be breaking $70,000 by around mid to late March, and I think I had it targeted on the candlestick that printed on that daily chart, on the 21st of March. So you can go back and check that, but I'm pretty sure. So this would tell us that if history does not repeat, but it rhymes, it's similar. Maybe we build a 4-day margin in, right? It's the actuary in me. Maybe I'm just interjecting some subjectivity here. So I'm pointing to the 21st if it lines up with 2020. Let's build a 4-day cushion in there. Maybe it's the 17th. Maybe it's the 25th on Monday. Okay? Either way, what this is signaling to us, I think the key takeaway is this, and we're going to look at another chart that speaks to some of this stuff. If I am correct in what I've been sharing with you for a long time now on this channel, if you've been following me, we are at the point where if history is very similar, and I've been saying this, similar to 2020, we can expect a monumental push above $70,000 this month. That is the most important key takeaway. This month. Okay? This month. Let's go to the Pi cycle. Now, a very interesting development on the Pi cycle, and I wanted to spend a moment to talk about the Pi cycle because I think it's very important to understand what historically has happened and why it happens, okay? It's not good enough just to look at a line and a price chart. I mean, you really, for some of this stuff, I think it's helpful to actually have a comprehensive understanding of some of this. So this is a pineapple martini. It's very good, actually. I bought a whole pineapple, cut it up. I did not make the martini. Somebody who cares about me made the martini tremendously. Um, fresh pineapple juice, lime juice, vodka. Very simple. Very simple. No simple syrup. No extra sugar. Just 3 ingredients. All right. So, what is the pi cycle average actually? Pi cycle chart actually show here. So we historically, when we evaluate the pi cycle, and just a little spoiler alert, this is going to be one of my 5 topping signals that I am going to speak to in that video when it comes out. What we evaluate on this chart is, number one, we evaluate it on a daily time frame. Okay, not a weekly, not a 3-day. This is on a daily time frame. There are 2 moving averages. There is a fast period moving average, which is the orange line, and a slow period moving average, which is the blue line. Okay? Now, we are at the point in time right now where we're pressed right up against it. We haven't closed above it. Now, in the past, we can go here, we can go here. Couple key takeaways. First off, here, you can see the first time we pressed up against it was right here. Okay? Technically, I mean, I guess you could argue the 24th of November. We got a little closer on the 30th of November. So that kind of actually lines up. If we take the 30th of November, which I would lean towards, it was 17, well, technically 16 days. So that actually lines up with the daily chart on new all-time highs. It was 16 days until we significantly broke above the slow period moving average, which is the blue line. Now, what subsequently happened when that occurred? We stayed above it, and once the orange line touched the blue line, that's when we topped out. And the same thing happened back here, okay? If we go back in time to 2017, you can see that once we closed above it, we rode it. We actually came down to the fast period moving average here. But once the fast period moving average crossed at the slow period moving average, that signaled our top. Okay, so it's a good topping indicator. At some point, this is going to fail. Okay, there's only a sample set of 2, which is why I stress that you have a multiple. You don't overcomplicate your life. The worst thing you can do is to overcomplicate your life. Actually, the worst thing you can do is be at both ends, any end of the spectrum, extreme, right? You overcomplicate your life and you look at 10, 20 different indicators, or you underwhelm by doing no research and expect that you're just going to sell out at the top, right? You got to find a middle ground. The middle ground is keeping it stupid simple, right? So while this has been a useful indicator to tell us in the past that we have topped in Bitcoin, we can't solely rely on that. That would be what we call hubris. Look up the definition of hubris, Hubris. We will use this with a tandem of 4 other indicators. But the key takeaway here is once price action begins to close above the blue line, which is the slow period moving average, that indicates we're going to top sometime soon. And the way the chart actually works, it's important you understand this. Again, there are 2 moving averages. There's a fast period moving average and a slow period moving average. By the very nature of how these things are calculated, all we're saying here, one is a 111, the other is a 350. All we're saying is, and this is really important that you understand this. You walk away and you understand this concept. A fast period moving average, all that means very simplistically is that the moving average data point that's plotted at every single day is based on more current price data. It's based on the past 111 days. The slow period moving average is a moving average. It's an average data point that's plotted every single day, which is based on an extended period of time, 350 days, which is what's shown here. So what's happening in real time, the way I would interpret this chart and communicate it to in layman's terms to somebody who doesn't understand charting, what happens here, I hate my laptop, what happens here is as price, let's go to 2020, as price begins to push above the slow period moving average here, okay, it's all the way up here, what's happening is the more recent price action is escalating in value very quickly. And so this fast period moving average, which is based on more recent price data, it's starting to accelerate higher and higher and higher, and eventually catches up to the slow period moving average, which is it's just slower to react to price data because it's based on, think of it this way, the slow period moving average is based on all of this, right? The fast period moving average is based on like this, okay? That's the way to think of it, okay? Hopefully that made sense. These lines aren't changing colors. And so historically what's happened is when the moving averages kiss and they make out, they make sweet love here and they touch, that's historically where we top out. Interestingly enough, something else I took a look at on this chart, very, very, very interesting, and it's another item that lends credence to the notion that 2000 and late 2021 was not our blow off top, although it created a new all-time high and was part of a corrective structure. Look at the Pi cycle. When we hit $69,000, where were we? We were underneath the slow period moving average. See price data here? This is when we had our blow off top. We were underneath the slow period moving average right here and above the fast period moving average. We weren't up here. Again, just another indication that this, and you can look at the RSI on the weekly and 2 week to further confirm this, this was our euphoric, impulsive blow-off top. This was part of a corrective structure that faked a lot of people out, a lot of experienced traders as well that I follow on X and Twitter, including moi. Okay, I was definitely faked out by this, guys. I have absolutely no problems whatsoever, and I actually enjoy coming out here to share with you mistakes I've made, because mistakes, the older I've gotten, and the more humble, increasingly year over year that I've become, I really do speak like an actuary. I spend way too much time doing analytical things. The more I appreciate making mistakes or doing something incorrectly, because it provides a learning opportunity. It's a learning opportunity. It's a great perspective to have in life, to recognize that you will not be perfect. Like, you're going to make plenty of mistakes in life, guys. Plenty of mistakes. And so when you make those mistakes in life, you have a choice. I always speak to this. When you make a mistake in life, you have a choice. You can either learn from that mistake and do differently. I don't like to say do better. You can learn from that mistake and do differently moving forward and grow as a human being. Or, as I like to joke with my father, who likes to look at a red wall and call it blue, because my father, I get my stubbornness from my father. Or you can make a mistake and you can look at it and say, I can't acknowledge that. I can't acknowledge it and I refuse to. And then the growth opportunity is lost, right? So I've learned from that. I certainly have a much different perspective and philosophy in terms of how I plan to take profits this time around. And I'm very confident, humble, but confident that I'm going to prosper tremendously as a result. Okay? So the key takeaway from these views that I've been sharing with you, and then I think we're gonna call it meeting adjourned. Although I haven't looked at the comments, I at least want to take a look at the comments to see who's in here. Sorry, I was on a roll there, guys. I hope you learned something from this live stream. I think the important key takeaways here are that the Ethereum BTC price reaction on the day of volatility, as well as the day after today, the Pi cycle, and relating the daily chart today and the Pi cycle today to 2020, because I am drawing a very similar conclusion in terms of how price is reacting. I've been doing that for a while. All of these things, all of this confluence is centering around a big takeaway, which is Bitcoin is most likely, based on history, about to slam right through $70,000 this month. And once specifically it sort of tops out, which I'm targeting the high 70 to low $80,000 range, once it tops out there and then comes down to sort of consolidate, your altcoins are going to start going fucking nuts. Your altcoins are not going to be up 10%. Mark my words, and we'll come back here. If I'm incorrect, I'm incorrect. I will own it if I'm incorrect. You are going to see your altcoins up 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%, 110%, 120%, 130%. That's the type of rally you're going to see in this market. And we'll assess the charts at that time, but my view also is most likely that's not the top. Bitcoin is entering some consolidation and correction before that final fifth wave. Because in an Elliott wave structure, in that fifth impulsive wave, just like in the third impulsive wave and the first impulsive wave, there are 5 subwaves. 5 subwaves. We are in the middle of the third wave. We have not topped out yet of that third wave. We're waiting for the third wave to come up, come down, correct for the fourth wave, come up for that fifth final wave to have that final blow-off euphoric stage where everyone who doesn't know what they're talking about is calling for a super cycle for Bitcoin to go to 200,000 plus, and you and I will know better, and we will be scaling out of our investments because there is no super cycle. There's going to be a massive correction. So if you appreciated the content, guys, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, show a little love on the educational content. Let's see who we got in the live stream today. Juan, let's fucking go. I don't do let's go. I do let's fucking go. Let's see. Evan, it's always good to see you, my friend. Jep Rocks, good to see you. Don't worry, man. I mean, everybody has a real life. You can't join the live stream live all the time. Just catch it in syndication. CSC Crypto Social Club, let's fucking go. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I hope I am providing great content. Black Oil Man, always good to see you in the live stream, my friend. Appreciate the support there. I see what you're saying. Jorge, always good to see you, my friend. Mr. BBC, what would you drop bread on, XRP or X Casper? 57% of my portfolio equals XRP. Casper equals 11. Kind of want to swing trade about 9% into Casper. Well, I'm never going to offer you financial advice, but based on your portfolio breakdown, it would be my observation you need more Casper if you're looking to increase any one of those positions. So I would go CSPR. No comment there, Evan. CGPT, I don't know what the hell that is. Kathleen, welcome in. Good to see you. Kathleen being the enforcer, I appreciate it. By the way, as I'm kind of going through the comments here, don't forget that tomorrow's going to be a live TA Q&A. So make sure that you come to the live stream prepared with any TA questions that you have. And again, it doesn't need to be me charting a crypto chart. If you have a fundamental question about technical analysis, I'm happy to answer it. It doesn't have to be me charting a chart. Appreciate the support on getting a little love on the channel, guys. I do have a lot of high aspirations for the channel, especially when I can spend a lot more time on it. You know, it kind of stinks. I actually am very, very, very busy at work. Work is it's picking up momentum. It's busy season, so I just don't have as much time to chart as I would like. I feel like if I did have more time to chart, I'd have even more meaningful conclusions to walk away from, more material. I just don't have that time right now, so kind of stinks with the timing. BCK, man, I haven't seen you in a while. Rich Whitman? Rich, I think you're new to the comments here. I haven't seen you before. Welcome in. Let's fucking go, Vaughn. I don't have my clicker. It's upstairs. I didn't bring it downstairs. I'm live streaming downstairs today. By the way, for everybody, Steady is in the house, man. Missed seeing you in the comments. Good to see you. Evan, you have nothing better to do than blow the chat. Oh, Black Oil, be, be nice. I appreciate Evan's loyalty to the channel. I just wish that Evan would learn to be more selective about his comments because it makes it very difficult when you're trying to keep a stream to 30 to 35 minutes, scrolling through and seeing 80% of the comments with Evan and trying to scroll through them. What was I going to say here? I'll chill. You'll chill. Now I forget what I was going to say. This is what happens. I did have one other point that I did want to make with you guys. Oh, I know. So today is Wednesday. I'll be back here Thursday and Friday. Don't know what time on Friday. Make sure that you click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. I am very excited to announce that I will be in my home office, my usual setup, the normal mic, because I know the audio quality sucks. I've gone back and listened. It doesn't suck, but it's not the best. I'll have my normal video, my normal audio, and I'll have a little bit more capability to make videos and such. So I will be back doing that officially on next Tuesday. So for a live PA Q&A. So make sure to tune in for that, and I should be there for a few weeks. So guys, really appreciate the support. I hope that you found the content helpful in evaluating where we're at in the market. These are my honest views that I always share with you. In general, I'm an extremely transparent and open book. So what you're hearing from me is how I evaluate the market. And if you do appreciate the content, make sure to continue coming back every day. You can click that bell icon for all notifications. It's going to be critical that you guys really pay attention to what's going on in the market because it is very true. I was listening to another channel today, another technical analyst whose work I appreciate, and he spoke to a Pareto distribution, the 80-20 rule, and it is very true that 80% of your gains, I really want you to think about this, 80% of your gains will be made in the last 20% of this bull run. So make sure you're locked in, guys. Now is not the time to be focused on, I think it's very important in life to enjoy every day for what it is. Now is not the time to be focused on all the vacations you want to take in the next 6 months. You want to go here. Focus on this fucking market if you've been here because now is the opportunity. You got to seize this moment because this shit will disappear very, very, very quickly. And I'm here to help you with that. So until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care.